All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are multiple mediums in which you can interact with this content. But my favorite way, and the best way in my opinion, is the blog. And the blog is parked at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. But that's a lot to remember or to type in, so wherever you are enjoying this content, look for a prompt of more info, intro, description, something of that nature. Click on that and another box will open that will have a link directly to the blog, the free blog. And you don't even have to put in your email, and I don't sell you anything. All right, so today is Tuesday? Yes, it was, because it's about to change. But it was Tuesday, August 12th. Hopefully I'll get this done. No, this is going to pop up as the 13th, but this is covering news for the 12th, which was good news. There's one maybe bad thing. If you don't read the whole thing, you won't see that it might be a good thing, but I'll tie those dots together or whatever they say. Thank you, new subscribers. Welcome. And someone put in the notes, if you speed up, I know I talk slow. That's just my nature, always has been. So if it's too slow, if you know how to speed up a video, 1.5, 1.75, you probably will still get, understand what I'm saying, and it cuts down the time. All right. So, oh, thank you for the likes. Okay, I did this one video that I knew not a lot of people were going to watch, and I checked on it one time, and it had 500 views and 100 likes, and that is a good ratio. The other day I was watching someone who he has 1 million plus followers, and on one video he only had 1,100 likes. And that's a bad ratio, right? But I know, see, I think once you get a lot of followers, some of them, they're not really watching, right? They subscribed, but they probably subscribed because you said, hey, during the video at 11 minutes and 11 seconds, a little icon's going to pop up. And if you want to subscribe, you tap on that. But, you know, so I'm just thankful. I'm thankful because hitting the thumbs up does help. And YouTube made changes again, and they, the old timers, I call them the old timers, they're trying to figure out what the new thing is, so us new people can watch their videos and benefit, right? But anyway, so even though I've been on YouTube, I used to have another channel years ago, decades ago, okay? But, life happens, things change. Anyway, all right, so we'll get into it. The title is 60 trillion dinars collected, but no budget? Iraq's financial puzzle. All right, so this is the article that has, if you only read the headline, which I know some people do, they only read the headlines, then this seemed negative to you. It says the Minister of Finance postpones the submission of the 2025 budget schedules, and first half revenues exceeded 60 trillion dinars. I don't know if that's a good number or what, but that has to be less. That's probably less than what the budget is, because remember previously they were saying they have a deficit of like 60 trillion or something like that. Okay, so financial and economic affairs expert, there's his name, revealed today, Tuesday, August 12th, that the Ministry of Finance informed the General Secretariat of the Council of Ministers of postponing the submission of the federal budget tables for the year 2025. Oh no. Okay, but keep reading. So the very next paragraph says exactly the same thing, except it has a few more words. It says until the relevant authorities complete the audit of the allocations. And who might the relative authorities be? Relevant, excuse me. Yes, Oliver Wyman. And so far this week, Oliver Wyman has been all in the news, right? Okay, so they sent a letter. So the Minister of Finance sent an official letter to whoever that is and says there will be no budget schedules for this year. And you know what? It may be. It may be that. Because remember yesterday, Mohammed Saleh came out and said they're going to keep shrinking the parallel market for how long? Through the end of the year. So that's why I say be prepared to be here. You know, if you know you got some children or some grandchildren you need to buy Christmas gifts for, start making a plan now, right? Hopefully we won't, but it's always best. My favorite book tells me a wise man sees trouble coming and prepares. And I'm just pointing out to you possible trouble. Possible, because this is still all things are possible August, right? All right. So then they talk about non-oil revenues and what the 60 trillion dinars is made up of and everything. Okay, now look at this. The Central Bank of Iraq discusses the banking reform plan with who? Oliver Wyman. Yep. So here's a shorter article, but I want to go with the long one, right? Because the long one has all the details, the good stuff. And there's Ali Alak. He is the CBI governor. The banking reform plan will boost international confidence and restore relations with correspondent banks. And what are the correspondent banks? Those are the banks that I guess we in the U.S. Treasury have designated approved banks can process dollar transactions through, right? And it's Bank of Jordan, a Gulf Bank something, right? Remember those? Those might sound familiar to you. Okay, maybe not. So Ali Allah confirmed on Tuesday that the banking reform plan, so remember yesterday and Sunday was Sadani talking all about the banking reform plan, right? So now, and in the past, Sadani has had meetings with the Oliver Wyman group to get updated, and perhaps he had a meeting yesterday. This is the first time that I've seen Ali Alak have his own meeting with Oliver Wyman. He has sat in on the meetings that Sadani had, but this article seems to say it was his meeting, right? So Ali Alak and the specialized team held a meeting with Oliver Wyman to discuss what was stated in the letter of the Iraqi Private Bank Association regarding the banking reform plan. Remember, they were complaining, saying, hey, you're pushing us too fast. We need some flexibility. And they got it. For the first cutoff is August 31st. But I think they'll come up with another one after that. Okay, but we'll see, right? Let's see. The plan, the flexible provisions of the plan flexibly to facilitate implementation steps, and the company has begun studying the available means to present the best proposals and ideas in this regard as soon as possible. We like that, right? The statement emphasized the central bank, as announced during the months-long plan preparation period, aims to achieve a real project to build and stabilize the banking sector. Okay, and we know very often, not always, but very often when they put something in an article, it's already done. And you see how they just said during the months long plan preparation period? So this could possibly already be done. This is to enhance governance, compliance, and risk management, transforming banks into an economic role that enhances the development process and provides services with the highest level of efficiency and effectiveness, utilizing the best practices and modern technologies. So they're all talking about the same thing, right? Hopefully, all those words I just said sound familiar to you because that means you listened to the last episode where I read it to you. And if you didn't, don't worry, because if you stay to the end of this video, another little icon pops up and you just click that and the last episode pops up and you can have a little My FX Buddies marathon, right? Okay, so according to the statement, the central bank thanked all banks for their engagement with the plan and their fruitful cooperation with the central bank to achieve common goals in the public interest, stressing that the success of the plan depends on the cooperation of all concerned parties. So who might they be slyly nudging to cooperate? The private banks and the Islamic banks, right? He pointed out the bank has succeeded in many aspects during the past period and hopes to succeed in proceeding with this plan and completing it in the best possible way. So I like that. I like both of those articles, and I hope you can see that. And remember, I said it seems like maybe they're going to slow up to deal with these banks, these last 30, 45, whatever banks. They could still move everyone else on, right? Everyone else who's doing what they're supposed to do, they could move forward. And if they change the rate and they had new notes, they can very well tell the citizens, hey, only go to these banks. They put out lists with addresses and the names of the bank, right? So it's not entirely impossible, right? Okay. So this had to do with, are the salaries at risk? But this is for the other parts of the country, not the Kurds. And they have to assure people an operating budget is mainly limited to salaries. So no, don't worry. Your salaries are fine. So if you want to read that, you can. Now here is, I like this picture. This is going to be the thumbnail picture. Anyway, the Kurdistan regional government sets conditions for salary transfers through banks. No, they're not transferring it yet, but Aziz Ahmed, he explained in a post on his official X account platform that approved banks must have a sufficient number of cash withdrawal devices and tools. So why is that? Because they know they're not going to be able to get as many people as they want to strictly go digital. Plus, remember they had the total blackout yesterday of electricity, which is supposedly it's back up. And then today, guess what they had? A general technical glitch is affecting Earthlink. The company notes a comprehensive outage. So yesterday the power was out. Today the internet in some places, right, is out. There's no way they can expect these people to go 100% digital when they can't even get their stuff right, right? Okay, so if you want to read the rest of that, you can, but it's more for the banks that are trying to sign up with the Kurdistan region's My Account program. So it says they must have a minimum of branches and an ATM network. They must meet technical requirements that are up to global standards, and they must have CBI approval. So those are all reasonable things, right? All right, here's my one commercial. if you would like to support my Epics Buddies, which is me, just me, I don't have a team of people. The this Buy Me a Coffee, that'll be a live link when the blog goes live. Cash App is always live. And my ID or tag or whatever is $ T as in Tom, I, S as in Sam, H, WASH, all lowercase, all one word. Same for PayPal. And big or small, I truly appreciate it all. And I thank you for your generosity in advance. All right, so if you remember from yesterday, this lady is the herbal. Look, I shouldn't even try. She's the U.S. Consul General to Kurdistan region. What's her name? Gwendolyn Green. Gigi. I think I can remember that. I'm going to call her Gigi. All right. So remember yesterday she went to the Barzanis, who are the most powerful family in Kurdistan. And now who is this? This is Kubat Talabani. So then today she went to the second most powerful family in Kurdistan, right? So she's making the rounds, but that's what they do. Stephen Bittner is leaving. I believe that guy right there, that might be Stephen Bittner. So he's saying, hey, I'm out. She's in, right? They're taking her around, connecting her. So here's 10 banks are unable to return customer deposits, and lack of confidence keeps 80% of funds outside banks. So they put this in the news again today. They talked about it yesterday. This is Ali Allah. He came out and said it again today. All right, look at this. This is another company, Edita. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but I like the sweet side of life. I like their little slogan there. And then I'm confused about, so it's an Egyptian company. It's an Egyptian food company. It has established a UAE-based holding company, Edita Investments Holding Ltd, which has invested, IQD, $960.7 million in another account, General Trading and Food Industries Limited, in Iraq via a capital increase. That sounds shady to me though, but just because I guess I don't understand international finance, right? Operations in Iraq are expected to begin by the end of 2025, following a partnership agreement signed with TJA. So to me, it looks like there's 3 companies here. The Edita, whatever. But so this is the 3rd time I've seen this IQD in front of the amount. So I'm wondering if that's how they're going to write it, because it doesn't have a symbol. Like, we have the $. The euro has the euro sign, the yen, the Iraqi dinar does not. So there was some other article I was reading in front of the dinar figures. It had either IQ or IQD. So, and the reason I'm explaining that to you, because that would be something new, and that would be them moving to the next phase, because they weren't doing that before. All right. So, I'm going to see if the rest of the week I see any contracts or anything written, and see if they have that there. I think it's good if they do. All right. So they're still going back and forth. We are still telling Iraq We don't want you to pass that PMF law. They are opposed to it. They're against it. They're vehemently opposed to it. I don't know what other way they could tell them. Miss Bruce, what's her name? Tammy Bruce. I don't know any other way she could say, we don't want you to pass that law. And then so today she came out and said, that law, don't you understand? It makes you subservient to Iran. And we only want you subservient to us. Right? That's what it boils down to, right? But so this is the response. So I'm just putting the response here for time's sake. Iraqi embassy in Washington says Iraq is not subordinate to any country. But yeah, yes you are. So if you want to read that, you can. But so they still have that drama. And here's U.S. sanctions loom over Iraq if the PMF law passed. See, so there that is. Every day we got to hear about that. There wasn't too much about oil today. And who is that? Yeah, Yahya Saree, right? He's the front man for the H group. You see that? Uti, right? And guess what he said tonight? We have carried out 4 military actions, right? Using 6 scones, phones, tones. If you're new, there's words I cannot say, will not say. So the scones, tones, phones, take off the first letter and put DR in front of any of those, and that's what I'm saying. That's the word I'm trying to say. And the other one I can't. If you could go look, you would see. But they're in Yemen, and every chance they get, they send kablooies to ice cream land. And if you're new, how can I describe ice cream land? There's a guy named B, and then another B, and then he has a longer last name. He lives there. That's what I call ice cream land for YouTube. All right? Okay. So we're almost done here. Look, you have to see this video. So I have a video here. There's an article for this one. I mean, do you really care to read that when you could just watch this video? It's another car company. It seems to be just SUVs that they make. It's in English too. So I have the video as usual. Where is it? At the bottom of the blog. Because I understand why some people like to hear about the articles. They don't necessarily want to read them. So if you go to the blog and you squish, I don't know why I said squish, scroll all the way down to the bottom. The video's there. It's a very short video also. Okay. And I found this is another transcript of a guy was interviewing 3 young guys, and they were talking about the electricity, and they said it's always bad. Let's see, he's right here. We come home from work, tired from work. We want to sleep. We want electricity at home to relax. We're tired. There's none. What do you do? And it's a really rough translation. If you can see right here, it says, I'm a decoration. I don't know what that means. But then the next line makes sense. He says, there's no electricity. We don't want to go back. We sleep. We want to organize. Electricity has moved to, and it doesn't say, May God have mercy on him. So, you know, that is just the nature of when you use an AI bot to translate Arabic to English. But it says corruption, my dear, is the reason. Corruption, corruption. And the quota system and the polarization. Where do we hide our faces? Where do we go? Where do we go? How do we go? I mean, the bottom line, to the abyss, to the identity, you only once. Your shame only once. I'm bored. So that might be a prayer. You know, I'm going to stop saying that. That might be a prayer of some sort. But yeah, so here at 16 seconds in is where they start talking. But again, they say there's no electricity. What's the reason? The trumpet of corruption. And 2003, they say it's been that way since 2003. And they're young. They might be in their late 20s, early 30s. Oh, well, here's the, this is the car video. See, don't they look like SUVs? So let's see if no, I didn't keep it. I didn't keep the young guys. Alright. Yep. But then he says they started catching up with generators on gas. They're taking gas. It's now with the ampere generators. Very expensive, you know. So you can read that. Like I said, it was very short. It looks long because it's a long transcript, but it's not more than 4 minutes. Oh, okay. 4 minutes and 50 seconds. All right, so that's it. There was other stuff, but not, you know, stuff that is good for Iraq. A youth day. They want to focus more on the youth, get them working, get them jobs, companies. Yeah. So that's it for today. All right. So I want to say thank you. I want to say accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Thank you again. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on your way out. And oh, subscribe, join, follow, because I don't regularly update. And if technology works as it's supposed to and you've done your part, supposedly you'll get updated when I update. But we know how that works. All right. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until next time.